Hello, my name is XI, yeah. And I'm here to talk about the issue about economic inequality. Economic inequality is growing in the US. What this means is that the rich are getting richer while working people are struggling harder and harder to get by. Economic inequality isn't a new thing. It has existed since the start of this country. But at what point does inequality become a problem? What causes it? And what can be done to fix it? In this video, I will address these questions by providing evidence. Yeah. So we know that inequality exists in our society, but is it a problem? The following graph shows that 400 richest people have more wealth than the bottom 150 million of Americans put together. When we look at this evidence, we see that it shows the inequality between the rich and poor to middle class people. And that it really does exist through the ratio of one wealthy person to 375,000 of the middle class to poor people. Inequality poses a big problem because it can cause homelessness, which could also affect people's daily necessities and their families.
Families staying in cars, in shelters, struggling to get their children to school.
There's a mixture of looks you get, but a lot of it is people just look disgusted.
Those who served our country, living in a tent on concrete sidewalks.
It's bad. Because they come by, like I said, at 2:30 this morning. Get up. And if you don't get up, we got calling the police.
The following video by KTUE demonstrates this by showing that homeless families that were interviewed have stated that daily necessities were scarce for them, as well as having normal everyday things like going to school become more difficult. The causes of inequality in our society has to do with the comparison of when a regular worker's productivity increases while their wages are stagnated. The following graph shows that the workers are being underpaid for the amount of effort they are putting in. This is important to understand because getting underpaid leads to workers spending less and being unable to pay rent, causing workers to become homeless. If this problem is not addressed, this would be bad because it could in return cause many families to go homeless, which could lead to getting diseases. This is not the first time economic inequality has caused major problems in our economy. During the Great Depression, the economy crumbled because of the consolidation of wealth from one rich man to the other, which leads to middle class workers getting lower wages, and which started a vicious cycle of less spending, overproduction, firing workers, and relying on credit. The collapse of the economy was a huge problem because it shows how by trying to change how one thing works in a society could lead to its downfall. In order to address this economic crisis, President Franklin Roosevelt created a platform called the New Deal. The goal of the New Deal was to rebuild the broken society caused from the Great Depression. Some of the programs created were the CCC and the WPA. They're intended to help people who were fired and looking for work, get jobs, and hired young men to work on environmental projects. Understanding what happened in the past is key to understanding what we need to do today about inequality. One possible solution would be to give workers a fair amount of wages corresponding to their efficiency.
$700, $750 a month. My rent is $550, so I can't even put food in the house with the remainder of that paycheck left over in a month. $15 would help, just me being able to go buy me basic necessities, socks, undergarments. I don't need the luxuries of life, I just need the bare necessities.
In this video, we see that this would be effective because it allows them to pay for their rent and have enough to eat and survive. Another possible solution would be to make the rich pay a fair amount of taxes. This would be effective because it was proven that many riches were undertaxed. In this graph, we see that they only have to pay taxes to a portion of capital gains instead of the entire thing. One of the things we should have learned from the Great Depression is that the optimism of the rich could lead to the downfall of society if not kept on check. Something we can do differently today is have companies not speculate everything they have onto one product.